Okay, guys, I'm sick to death of Adobe now. Adobe's pushing their hand. They're trying to force people to use Flash, and that's really putting a distaste in my mouth for Adobe. I don't care. I'm in the position to where I don't have to use their products. I'm not in the print business or anything like that where I have to use Photoshop or After Effects because they got a lock on the industry. Um, so I'm just pretty much going to boycott their products. I don't have any of their products on my machine. I might have one on here somewhere. I'm not sure. I don't even have Air installed. I refuse to use anything like that. Fuck them. They've drugged their feet when it comes to the Mac, and now they're playing completely. They're just being pussies about the whole thing. Take your fucking medicine and move on, okay? Instead of pulling a Microsoft and trying to make the world eat what you want them to eat, okay? Apple controls their stuff, but if you don't want to buy Apple stuff, you don't have to. But now you're trying to force feed us Flash. Look at this article. Adobe working to sabotage HTML5. Despite initial comments in support of HTML5 as an open standard, Adobe has taken action to sabotage the open specification in an effort to support its existing position with Flash. Adobe are nothing but a bunch of damn liars. 2/3 of everything that comes out of their mouth is a lie, a complete lie. Not long ago, they told us that they was working on a Flash version for the iPhone, and even Apple, they hinted that Apple was even working on it with them. And guess what? When Apple announced it, Flash wasn't part of the announcement. They're nothing but liars. They will lie, scheme, and steal just to keep their head in the game. They're like the Microsoft of applications, okay? They milk the development cycle. The releases from CS4 to CS5, I bet it's going to be minimal. You talk about Final Cut Studio milking releases. Well, they milk a release every single year, and now they're going to milk CS5. The development, I just don't. Adobe's lazy. They are lazy. They're like Autodesk. They change the very minimal amount that they can change to get by with calling it a new version. Okay? It says Ian Hixie, a member of HTML5 working group and an employee of Google, reported this week that the latest publication of HTML5 is now blocked by Adobe via an objection that has still not been made public, despite yesterday's promise to make it so. See, there's another lie. They promised to make their objection public, but nope, their objection they're still keeping secret. So they're trying to block HTML5 as an open standard, and the way they're doing this is it says that they've filed an objection, okay? And it's still not made public. So they're doing anything they can to delay the release or to delay the standardization of HTML5. They're trying to sneak Flash onto the iPhone via Adobe Air. Okay, I want everybody to know that, so don't be fooled. Here it says Dave McAllister, an Adobe evangelist, said last year that for Adobe, open is all aspects of communications and technologies. For us, those are open source standards and community. We make sure that we talk to our communities, that we play with the standards groups. We are actually one of the most open companies that are active. Can you believe these quotes? Hixie contrasted a series of comments from Adobe executives, including CEO Shantanu Narayan, who wrote in 2009, he said, to the extent that an improved HTML standard accelerates innovation and consistent reach for web content, we are very supportive. So in other words, that means we're supportive of HTML5. At least he was during the time of him saying this. Now, earlier this month it says, Adobe CTO Kevin Lynch said that Adobe supports HTML and its evolution. It does, huh? Then why are you filing objections against it for? Against specifications? Now, despite all these supportive public comments, Adobe is now working to block the HTML5 specification, particularly in the realm of the canvas element. While HTML5 is often contrasted with Flash as a means for supporting video playback, see, the new HTML5 canvas elements presents a direct threat to Flash as a way to add animation or navigation elements to a web page. The HTML5 canvas element also supports the creation of web games, advertisements, and other interactive content, a feature set that will make its adoption a direct threat to Adobe's Flash platform. So HTML5 offers us every single thing that Flash does, only it's not a damn plugin. Now, Adobe has been working to incite interest and talk about Flash, particularly on the iPhone, iPod Touch, and the new iPad, none of which support it. So can you believe this horse shit? They have done nothing but publicly state how they're in support of HTML5. They're in support of HTML5. And now all of a sudden they're wanting to block it. HTML offers us ads just like Flash. It offers games just like Flash. It offers video playback just like Flash. Look at this. Look at the experience. Look at the so-called experience I'm missing by turning off Flash. See, we Mac users have something called Click to Flash, and if you Windows guys had it, I bet you'd be using it. I guarantee it. And when you did get Click to Flash and you did use it, you'd see how much Flash eats up your resources. Look at this. Here's an ad. Here's an ad. Here's an ad. Oh yeah, I'm missing so much of my web experience by not having Flash, ain't I? This is completely and utterly ridiculous, guys. Give me a fucking break. Anybody who supports Adobe in this is just, I don't know what to say about them. I mean, HTML5 gives us everything that Flash does, and it's native. It's not a plugin. Why in this world would you want to support the resource-hungry Flash when you can have something that does the same thing that doesn't nearly tax your system as much? Okay? Hulu, here's the site. Hulu is even going to make their videos available without Flash. Okay, Adobe is doing anything they can. They're playing Microsoft. They're acting like Microsoft, and I do not appreciate this. They are forcing people to do stuff, okay? You can say what you want about Apple, but again, Apple does not force you to use their products. If you don't like the way something at Apple works, you don't have to buy their products. But Adobe is trying to force Flash down the internet's throat. Some people want it, some people don't, but they're going to try and make us anyway. They're trying to delay HTML5 for whatever reason. I think it's because so they can get their Flash and Adobe Air shit worked out so they can have it on mobile platforms so they don't have to worry about it dying on the desktop. Okay? That's what they're doing. They are building themselves a net is what they're doing. Now look at these two screenshots. The one on the left is HTML5 and the one on the right is Flash. Seriously, folks? Can you see around the Y and the 3 and over here at the pig? Seriously? I know some of you might not be able to tell much of a difference, but I can tell a difference when I look at it. I can see that the Flash version on the right is much blurrier than the HTML5 version on the left. Look at Buzz and Woody right here. Look at Buzz and Woody compared to Buzz and Woody here. Give me a break, people. Flash is old news, and now the only thing Adobe's done is make me actually hate them. I had disdain for them before. Okay, I didn't like the way they done business, but now that I see they're trying to block HTML5, something that's good for everybody, something that gives the internet freedom to where it don't have to depend on a plugin. With HTML5, the internet does not have to depend on Adobe for this plugin and for this experience. You all talk about you can't experience the web without Flash, so let's move to HTML5 and let's not depend on Adobe to give us that experience. Okay, but no, Adobe's trying to block that, so that won't happen. And I know you guys love Adobe. I know you love Photoshop. I know they have tools that you do your work with and stuff. But this isn't right, guys. They're trying to monopolize the internet plugin business, it seems like to me, which I mean I know they're not, but they're just trying to force Flash down everybody's throat, and nobody wants it anymore. And if they can't make people have it, they're just going to try and start inciting blocks on HTML5. It's just not right. I can't stand this type of business practice. It's shady, it's underhanded, and it's untrustworthy. If you can't make people want to use your products because of the quality and experience that they give, then you shouldn't make people try to use your product. Okay? People don't want to use Flash. They know it's a hog. So don't try to make them use it. Okay? Improve the code and make it better, or move out of the way. Don't be doing this fucking filing objections to try to block HTML5 so you have more time to get some shit together. Fucking manipulative bastards. I've been saying this about Adobe since back in CS4 first came out. When I heard that they were too lazy to write a CS4 64-bit version for Mac, they said it would be CS5. I knew back then, I realized how lazy of a company Adobe was. And we'll see if they deliver on their promise for CS5 being 64-bit for the Mac. We'll see. It might just be another lie to add to the fucking pile, because this article specifically points out 2 or 3 lies. They publicly supported HTML5, and now they're blocking it. You know, filing objections. Give me a break. I've got several videos coming up. I haven't made none in a while, but there's a lot of good stories, and I'm going to make another one later on this evening, or a couple later on this evening, and I'll post them maybe one more tonight or in the morning. But I'm going to post this one first, okay? Because I'm just sick of Adobe shit. I'm sick of Microsoft shit. I'm sick of Google shit. You know, a lot of people want to say, hey, I'm sick of Apple shit. But hey, you know what? You don't have to use Apple shit. Now, Microsoft tries to install IE on all their computers that come from factory with Windows operating system, and that way people open it up, and people that don't know no better, they have a browser, so they don't know to go search for anything else, so they use that one. It's the same thing with Flash. I know you guys will disagree with me, and I know some of y'all think Apple is as bad as Google or anybody else in certain regards when it comes to certain things, but Apple puts restrictions on its products, okay? And if you don't like those restrictions, if you don't like the experience, then you don't have to use those products. They don't force their products on you. But Adobe going out and filing objections against HTML5, Microsoft putting IE on all the computers, you know, stuff like that, it's just bullshit. I think a long time ago, people started griping about Apple bundling QuickTime with iTunes. Maybe. When you downloaded iTunes, you got QuickTime. But what people didn't understand, and Apple stopped doing that too because people complained, but QuickTime is important to iTunes, I suppose, and I admit that they shouldn't have been putting a download into a package without telling people about it, but they stopped doing that, and that's the point, okay? They stopped doing it. And that's about the only thing that I can think of that Apple's really been seeming to force something on you, is when they bundled the QuickTime along with iTunes download. I don't see them doing things like Google is doing. Now Google's buying up dark fiber. I mean, come on, guys, seriously. I mean, Apple has their control, and they have their control issues. I'm not denying that. Not denying that in the least. But I do not feel that Apple tries to force anything down your throat. They show it to you. They say take it or leave it. They don't whine, bitch, and moan and complain when people won't use it. They just scrap it and move on. People want to talk about how the Apple TV, oh, the Apple TV is a fail. It's a joke. The Apple TV is not a fail. Apple is not in business to produce products that don't make them money. They are not taking a net loss on the Apple TV. And if they are taking a loss on the Apple TV, I guarantee you it's for a reason, and for a future plan they have something coming to be integrated with it. Apple would not keep producing a product that just doesn't make money. Apple's not that way. They've never been that way. They're not Dell. They're not Microsoft. They're not the Xbox. If Apple TV wasn't doing something for them in a positive way, they would not continue to produce it. And everybody I talk to that use the Apple TV loves it. So, I don't know. You know, you can take from this what you will, but it looks like to me now I've got another enemy to add to the list. Adobe. Adobe was kind of on the outer rings of my crosshairs. I wasn't too concerned with them. But now that I'm seeing that they're filing objections against HTML5, when HTML5 can deliver everything that Flash can, only in a more free format, it really gives me some spite towards them. Because I can go to website after website after website, and only video websites that depend on Flash hinder my experience. As far as Flash hindering my website experience, it doesn't. The only thing it does on 90% of the websites, like I said, unless you go to a video website like Hulu, 90% of the sites I visit, no Flash means no ads and no bothersome pop-ups. Okay? So I'm willing to sacrifice the few Flash sites that I use to be away with these goddamn stupid ads all over every page that I go to. You'll go to a tech article in a magazine online, it'll be a 5-page article. 5-page article, making 5 points. They'll put 1 point per page when they could easily put all 5 points on 1 page. Why do they do that? So you'll click to the next page and see more ads. Click to the next page and see more ads. They can sell more ad space if they have more pages to have in the article. They have 5 pages in the article. That's 5 times the space they can sell for ads. Okay, and I'm just sick of the whole Flash thing altogether. And screw Adobe for even attempting to do this right here after saying that they would support it. Okay? Enough of me babbling on and on and on. We'll see you in our next video. OS10, brother.